Hi folks, here is the Data Meister again. Today I'm broadcasting out of Switzerland, the beautiful town of Solothurn, which was founded by the Romans and exists already more than 2000 years. That's an awful lot of time. Very beautifully located at the River Aare, and this is one of our locations of Digital Consulting House. So as I promised, I take you on a little trip around the world and also around the amazing world of data. And today I want to start to actually talk about the subject, about not just what we are doing, but also how we are doing it. And it all starts basically when you are going on your journey. Let's assume you are a manufacturing company and you produce electrical parts. Maybe you have a couple of 100,000 of them. You want to bring order into your data, order into the chaos. In many cases, corporations are looking for the right advisor. And then I think it's a good idea to not just go by yourself. Let's assume you are in charge of the data, but find someone who has done it a couple of times already. Maybe you have found one of the companies which are out there. I don't want to name any of them. I don't even want to promote us here specifically. There are a couple of things you want to keep in mind. And there are some rules when you are dealing with PIM, MDM advisors, system integrators, the people who are telling you we are the experts, we are maybe even the neutral experts, right? Question is, are these people all neutral? Are these all good guys? And I have some bad news for you. Even some of the most famous, the ones, for instance, in Europe, who are dominating the scene. Some people I know myself personally, I worked with them, and I have great respect for them. But again, some of them are maybe not entirely what they tell you. So I want to go over some important rules. If you are starting on your PIM MDM journey, there are three things you should always keep in mind, or which are always important when you are starting on your journey. Number one, do your own research. Number two, as I mentioned a couple of times before as well, use your common sense. And last but not least, beware of the dark side. Not the dark side of the force, but the dark side of the MDM advisory scene. And I will come to that now in a little bit more detail. So let's start with number one. Do your own research. Before you start with anyone, and maybe your company doesn't really have a proper MDM system, and you're looking for the right MDM, then visit maybe some of the analyst website. I know there are some magic lists around there, but there are also some smaller independent analyst teams. I propose you visit them all, right? And not only again the magic well-known lists which are existing down there, right? Because otherwise you might miss also a couple of relevant players in the software market, in the PIM MDM software market, because some of these bigger analyst firms That's already pointing a little bit to the dark side. They are playing a pay-to-play game, right? And you have to be aware of that. Secondly, common sense. So there are some trends. There are always trends, and like always in life, with everything from the earliest times, there is a large herd of cattle and sheep who are following these trends which have been set, and there are some few people who make a lot of money out of them, right? And there are the others, the few, who think. You should be one of the ones who think. So I give you some examples. A very hot trend. Obviously, everyone is doing that nowadays. Everyone is going software as a service, which is great to stand something up quickly, to not have to deal with your own infrastructure, and also that eliminates some of the risks. But software as a service itself has a dark side as well, as some of you have already learned. If you are running, if you have a large demand, and which requires a lot of resources, a lot of infrastructure, like many products with a lot of content, with a lot of assets, then there is a tendency for cost increase, not degressively as if you owned your own infrastructure, but more progressively. And also the price models might change. So you cannot be always safe that what you have stood up as one of software as a service providers might become prohibitively expensive. There are reasons why it still makes sense in some cases to run your own environment. Another trend everyone is following, and I will make more of these AI and ML broadcasts as well, but I made already some, right? Not every problem is a nail when you are holding a hammer, right? So you don't always need to go with AI and ML if simple business analytics or again just using common sense does the trick, right? Another one I was very recently also talking about are these newest trends around like multi-domain MDM, then some other expressions, some other marketing terms like data fabric, data mesh, data as a service. It's all great if your data is in order, but that usually does not apply when you start such a journey. Otherwise, you wouldn't have started it. So the first order of business is to fix your data within the individual domains and then also harmonize reference data like currencies, languages, unit of measures. And then you may want to think about these other things. Otherwise, you might scatter yourselves into issues which you wouldn't have had if you would have just went the right path, right? So, and then number 3, as I mentioned, beware of the dark side. Some of you might have seen some movies like The Big Short or like The Wolves of Wall Street, and I tell you, the wolves are out there, right? So hidden commissions and kickbacks between the software vendors and the advisors, the neutral advisors, so to say, they are real, right? And practically the norm with almost all of the PIM MDM advisory firms. I just got it confirmed by one of the software vendors, by the CEO of one of the big software vendors, who actually does not play this game and does not pay them. And hence, it's a great software. I'm not saying the name, but they are almost never on the long list of the established PIM MDM service firms because, again, they don't pay these kickbacks, right? So, and I think there are a couple of simple questions you can answer to identify the bad boys, right, or the bad girls, right? So the first question would really be direct. What is your take on commissions and kickbacks? Right? Do you accept them? How do you make that yourself transparent? Right? Just to give an example, we as Digital Consulting House, we do not accept any commissions, any kickbacks from anyone. we are only on one side, and that's our clients. And if we receive any of them, we just forward them to the client. Any discounts, we are just working based on fees. These fees are reasonable, and for these fees, which are still high enough, our customers can expect full transparency and the full truth for forever and always, right? Who is on your long list of software vendors? That's another good question. And what is your selection criteria? And then for that, it's important to have done your research first so that you know who should really be on the long list. And if there are strong discrepancies, that's also a sign that this independent advisory firm might not be that independent, right? And any advisor should first start with your business goals and your needs and your requirements. And also they should be able to transparently tell you how they will apply these into the selection process, because not every company is the same, not one size fits all. So you want to make sure that your advisor takes into account not what is the best software according to the analyst, but what suits you best as a company, right? So, and then if you want to start, I have mentioned that a couple of times in some of my webinars, start old-fashioned. Start with your SMART goals. Understand where you are right now. There are these 4+1 dimensions I'm talking about, right, in terms of your organization, your people, right, in terms of knowledge, in terms of the processes in your company, in terms of the tools you are using, and also in terms of the culture, right? And then based on that, you develop a strategy to address these gaps, right? And to reach the SMART goals you have identified. For instance, you could identify a data governance model, data governance organization. You could have some trainings with your people. You could redefine your processes. And last but not least, when it comes to the tool side, develop your weighted criteria, right? One thing you should absolutely not do, and that's what most IT organizations within corporate companies do, they select the tool. They say, we are, so to say, technology stack, use any technology stack shop, right? Or there is an IT outsourcing vendor who comes up with something and says, okay, this is the kind of product we want to use. And then the business somewhat has to fit to it. Right? Projects started like that are usually not the ones who happen to be on the happy path a lot, right? And the last thing is match your unbiased, really unbiased, long list with your criteria matrix, right? If your advisor or your own IT, who might be strongly influenced by IT consultancy companies or IT outsourcing companies, maybe from places like India, if they don't follow such a methodology, then I would strongly advise that you look for other advisors, or maybe even do it for yourselves if you have that authority and power within your business. Because one thing is for sure, right? Everyone makes mistakes, but mistakes at the crucial beginning of your endeavor, of your journey, can be very costly on the long run, and potentially they can be career limiting or career ending. Keep that in mind. I wish you a wonderful day and God bless.